Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So let's start our today's discussion. We will continue from the last video in which we discussed the international political economy, its concept, importance, scope, and in this video we will continue from that and we will discuss the theories of international political economy. So let's move on. First, we are going to start with the introduction and we will discuss the basic concept of theories. Theories of international political economy provide different ways of answering the questions. They are basically the tools for understanding the world and the politics that is going on in the international arena. So, some theories of international political economy are economic liberalism, economic nationalism, or also known as mercantilism, or economic structuralism, and its two variants, Marxism and dependency theory. So let's start discussing these theories one by one. What does that mean? Let us first start with the economic liberalism, which is also known as laissez-faire liberalism or globalism. Laissez-faire is a French word which means free market. So the main objective of economic liberalism is free market, private power, and open competition. So what is economic liberalism? It's an ideological belief of strong support to the market economy and private property in means of production. It is basically against the government intervention, but it is supportive of government regulation only to remove monopoly, but more private property, free market, and open competition. So it is based on the capitalistic ideology. Economic liberalism contrasts of protectionism because of its support to free trade and open markets. Protectionism is basically when a country protects itself from the products of other country and in order to increase its economic strength. So economic liberalism is basically against protectionism. Now, the second theory of IPE is economic nationalism, which is also known as neo-mercantilism. So what's the objective of economic nationalism? Its main objective is to increase nations' wealth by increasing exports and decreasing imports through tariffs. That's the main objective of economic nationalism. It began in 1650 when British government pursued policy of mercantilism in international trade. So how do they pursue this mercantilist policy? So to achieve a favorable balance of trade, the English passed regulatory laws exclusively benefiting the British economy. These laws created a trade system whereby Americans provided raw goods to Britain and Britain used the raw goods to produce manufactured goods that were sold in the European markets and back to the colonies. So there was a whole system created to support their own nation, and as we know, in the 1650s the America was the colony of British Empire, and it was only 13 colonies of America at that time. So main tenet, in order to gain economic strength, a nation must export more. That's the main concept of economic nationalism. Now the third is economic structuralism. Economic structuralism have two main variants. One is Marxism and the other is dependency. So the reason for putting these two theories in economic structuralism is because they both criticize the structure of economic system. Let's start discussing these theories. The first is Marxism. The concept of Marxism was developed by philosopher, economist, and sociologist Karl Marx. It was based on the analysis of economic development of 19th century. As we know, the 19th century was the period of industrialization, and it was also the period of exploitation of the capitalistic owners. Its main objective is to bring classless society based on common ownership of the means of production, distribution, and exchange. Its main concept is unequal capitalistic economic structure is the main driving force behind all social conditions. In this theory, Marxism, Karl Marx talks about the unequal distribution of wealth. There are people that are on the top of the hierarchy. They are earning more by exploiting the people on the lowest rung of the hierarchy. So workers' revolution is inevitable due to exploitation of them. And in this theory, Marx predicted that in the end there will be a classless society and there will be no economic structure of exploitation. Now the last is dependency theory. It was developed in 1950s under the guidance of Director of UN Economic Commission of Latin America, Raul Prebisch. Sorry for the wrong pronunciation. Its main concept is peripheral nations are dependent on core nations. So what are peripheral countries? Peripheral nations are the third world countries, that the poor countries that are basically serving the core countries or the wealthy nations. They are working for them. They are working for their upbringing. Underdevelopment is a function of the position of a country occupies in the international system. So the development of a country is dependent where it stands in the hierarchy of the world system. Either it's a core country or a peripheral country. So it has a center periphery approach. Today it has been evolved into the world systems theory. So these were the following theories of international political system or international political economy. That was all. Thank you very much.